like less than 20 years. Like I think it peaked around okay, maybe like 25 years ago. Peaked around like the late 80s, early 90s. There was literally like a vending machine for every 150 people in Japan. Like, and it was ridiculous. And we're talking of a country that's 130 million people. Like, there's millions of vending machines,
That's like
and
how
you could
many
get
Tim Hortons there are per Canadian.
yeah, and you could get pretty much anything in them. I mean, obviously the cakes, the ramens, like you can get cake in a can. It comes in like it's a soda can. You get ramen, like fresh food, which is kind of scary considering we've seen vending machines here that sell old food.
the
But
the
yeah,
canned cake has my curiosity.
yeah, no, it's literally it looks like a soda can, and it has a cake inside of it, and you pull open the top, like yeah, like that, just like that, and there's a cake in it, and that's something you can still get.
I got something better, but you guys have an even better vending machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have the Seattle Mystery Soda Machine. Dude, have I got a story.
Okay, let's hear
So
it.
here's so here's this vending machine. It gives out pop. I'm Canadian, so I call soda pop. So let's just get that out of the way right now, okay? But yeah, it mysteriously showed up in what some people say 1986. USA Today claims that it showed up in 1986. The Seattle Times, on the other hand, claimed 10 years later, about 96. And it literally gives out just a random soda. Now, it's not how it. I'm saying soda. Weird. Now, originally it started out as more of a normal pop machine where you had like a button for Pepsi, you had a button for Coke, you had a button for Mountain Dew. But then on the sixth one was just a mystery, and it would spit out some random mystery pop. I'll get it. I'm switching back and forth between soda and pop. It's going to happen all night.
Mhm.
I'll actually get into the flavors later on because there's actually quite a few of them here.
Yeah, some odd ones.
Like and nobody knows who operates this thing or who operated it, who fills it, who collects the money, nothing. Get into more of that later on. There's gonna be lots of later ons going on because my notes are a mess.
Yeah, fair.
And when it first came up in '86 or '96, who knows? Um, People would literally go down there and just try to find a pattern to the pops. And no, it was literally random, completely randomized. My apologies. 1 second.
Yeah.
Great way to start. Sorry about that. I was hanging out with red pandas yesterday. Like ever since then, though, I think where is it? Like I said, my notes are a mess. Anyway, at one point there, it changed so like all 6 buttons would be mystery sodas,
Yeah.
and yeah, now all 6 people tried to find patterns. They never could find a pattern. Nobody knows who operates it, who fills it, blah 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 blah. We'll get into that more later. There was actually one time when it was broken into and emptied.
Yep.
Somebody really wanted some old pop, I guess.
Mhm.
We'll get into that later. Here's the thing though. There's definitely somebody looking after it because it is extremely rare that it went down. And when it did, it was literally like fixed by the next day. So it's definitely somebody that's taking care of it. Here's the interesting thing though. Nobody knows who operates it, but they think they have the manufacturer on it, on either
I
Vendo.
Oh no, go ahead.
The manufacturer of it is either Vendo or Lacrosse, but once again, that could literally be anybody that went out and bought this vending machine.
Manufacturer, you mean the people who made it?
Yeah.
I disagree. I think it's a Dixie Narco.
So I had one person say a Dixie Narco.
Yeah, the 1970 edition of the Dixie Narco looks exactly like it, and it is the most popular manufacturer of soda machines in the country.
So you really dared to compare.
It doesn't take much. You take a look. You just take a look at the pictures. They're identical. Like the milling, the placement of the panels. The only thing difference is paint job, and obviously the one on Capitol Hill is a little bit more rusted and out of date.
So then, yeah, if you guys want to look, go and have a look at it. It's a little bit spray painted on, a little bit graffitied up.
Well, in its defense, it had been cleaned up several times, and it had been broken into, and then had a lock put on it, and it had a rough life between. I heard it in 1990, but yeah, it definitely probably make more sense to be 86. It had a rough life over those 20 years.
Well, that's just it. This is a vending machine that was 20 years old. Even like our high school switched it out every 10 years.
Yeah. Oh no, it was at least 20. It was at least 20 years old there in the 90s. Like I said, I mean maybe Dixie Narco didn't change their vending machine style throughout the entire 70s, but the one I found was a 1970 for that particular model.
Well,
so they probably manufactured for a few years like that.
If we're gonna go back and talk about the break-in for half a second, afterwards it was padlocked to a pole.
Yep.
And we'll get into that padlock later.
Yeah, we should also get into the location later.
It it appeared right around the same time that a locksmith opened his doors.
But he claimed to know nothing about it. Still claims that.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah. Mystery sodas for 20 or so years. From I believe the 86 is probably more reasonable. To 2018, and then something interesting happened.
In 2018?
Yes.
Are we jumping right to the end?
Well, it's not really the end.
No, because believe it or not, it does have a Facebook page.
Yeah. So 2018, one day it was just gone. And there was a note in its place saying "taking a walk." And on Facebook, it posted. Yeah.
Gone for a walk.
Yep.
When it disappeared in 2018.
Then it would elaborate on that on the Facebook page, as you said.
Yep. It decided to go apparently traveling.
It's got to find itself. It's been doing the same thing for 20 years. It's got to find itself.
Well, here's the worrisome thing about it, though. Where am I at here? Why did I make such a mess? In its last post was January 29th, 2022, and it said, Doctor said he can probably fix me. And that was its last post. So,
yes.
Has our beloved mystery machine disappeared? Is it done?
There's still people claiming to find it in the Seattle area today.
Well, you're an American. Why don't you just hop over to Seattle and have a look?
Yeah, as we've discussed, you are literally closer to Seattle than I am.
I have a border to cross.
I have a fucking country to cross.
I think my passport's up to date. But yeah, for how long it's...
No, go ahead.
For how long it stayed around, I gotta say its prices are were pretty good.
Yeah. 75 cents for a can.
It stayed at 55 cents until 2014.
Yeah.
And then it went up to 75 cents.
Because there's
And
tax.
then,
There's new soda tax.
oh no, that's actually the next progression.
Yeah.
Because of a sugar tax in 2016, it went up to $1. And then in 2018, of course, it disappeared.
Yeah.
which I'm gonna say 55 cents American. That's we'll just say 75 cents Canadian. That's an amazing price for a can of pop. I just gotta say.
I mean, that's what it was in the '90s. So, like, that's I could walk down and get a soda out of a thing, maybe even up until like 2000 for like 50 cents.
Oh, Canadian prices suck.
Oh no, now it's like
This
$1 and
wicked.
they're all bottles. But at the time, you get the cans for 50 cents out of a thing.
We
Unless
could
you're into.
the no name brands we could get for like 50 cents. Other than that, it's like 75 cents. The
Fair.
black cherry was always delicious. But speaking of flavors, you want to discuss all the flavors?
Yeah, no, this is where the machine gets even more of its urban legend status going.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, it didn't, as you already hinted at. One of the buttons was originally mystery. By the time the machine disappeared, all the buttons are mystery,
Yep.
and mystery really meant mystery. Although there are a couple common threads. The two common threads is that it was a Coke or Pepsi product.
Well, it was a Coke machine after all.
Yeah, but it was a Coke or Pepsi product, so it wasn't any of like the Shastas or other other store brands and like super third party ones.
You want to go through the
But
list?
yeah, let's hit some of those up.
Mountain Dew Whiteout, Raspberry Brisk, Sunny D, Hawaiian Punch, just a bunch of Fanta flavors, which I didn't know was. I guess it was like just a mystery soda, not necessarily out of business. This one sounds disgusting. Hubba-Bubba Soda.
Yeah, well, you didn't even get into the bacon infused Coke yet.
I don't have that on my list.
Bacon infused Coke was one. New Coke was another. Crystal Pepsi.
Yep.
Friggin' Russian Pepsi.
Did I get the lamest list in the world or what?
No, Russian Coke. Russian Coke. My bad. But still, Russian Coke. Yeah, it was rare, out of print, or otherwise hard to get soda varieties.
There's also Cherry Coke, Black Cherry Fresco, which sounds delicious. Sun-Kissed Cherry Limeade. Country Time Lemonade, which ice cold with vodka is delicious. Mountain Dew Red.
Yeah.
Which I remember that. Squirt. I know I've had a squirt before. Sierra Mist. Lemon Lime Slice. I don't know why I spelt it Stice. But Lemon Lime Slice. Pepsi AM. And as you mentioned, everybody's favorite Crystal Pepsi.
Now,
which I remember.
No, go ahead.
Oh, which I remember drinking Crystal Pepsi as a kid.
Yeah, me too.
And thought it was just Pepsi that was supposed to be clear. My brain didn't comprehend it was supposed to be a different flavor.
Yeah, mine didn't either.
But I thought it was good.
To be fair, I don't think they changed the flavor enough to make it that super differential. Because I still liked it when it came back.
Everybody says it came back. I don't remember this era.
2016 to 18, it was back briefly, summertime months.
I don't think we got it up here in Canada there, eh?
Probably not. Can you blame them?
Bet you'd sell like gangbusters up here.
Yeah, but the important thing to know here, because I mean, some of this stuff is available today. Um,
Yeah,
but the important thing to mention here is that the stuff the stuff was available in this machine when it wasn't available widely anywhere else at the time.
yeah, exactly. Like yeah, like you said, like Crystal Pepsi was available for 2 years, but when it was in the vending machine, it wasn't.
Yeah,
And Pepsi AM, I thought was interesting. Trying to
yeah.
package a soda as a replacement for coffee.
I mean, isn't that what Surge was for in Jolt?
I was just about to bring up Jolt because I know throughout I love Jolt. You watch the movie Hackers where there's like Jolt for the
Yeah.
Midnight Hacker and blah blah blah. I'm just like, yeah, Jolt. That
Oh,
cool is going to be around forever.
speaking of which, I love that movie.
Who doesn't? But like yeah, I was disappointed when I was going through the list and never saw Jolt at all. You know,
Yeah, I don't think I saw it in any videos I watched.
damnable energy drinks came along and booted out poor old Jolt.
And the thing is, they don't have any less sugar than Jolt did.
Mm-hmm. But it had twice the caffeine.
Jolt was pretty up there, dude. Jolt was like 3 times a normal soda, wasn't it?
They always advertise twice the caffeine. All the flavor, twice the caffeine, or something like that.
Oh my gosh. Jolt caffeine content 71 milligrams.
How much is in, say, a can of Pepsi?
I'm not sure, but Mountain Dew is
Oh, my nose is so
55.
itchy.
Wait, okay. Actually, I have an empty can of Pepsi right nearby. Well, I have an empty soda Pepsi. And it's right on the side somewhere. No, I'm not. 40, 38 for 12 ounces.
How much is that in milliliters?
That's about 355 milliliters.
Okay, so a can.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I know the difference because here in the U.S. they have both the milliliter and fluid ounces on them.
Measure anything except for something normal.
They put the fucking metric on there too. They just kept the regular measurement too.
But anyway, now that we got off on a little jolt, blip, blip, blip. It's later than usual, okay? Bring back Jolt. Anyway, or find it in the Seattle mystery soda machine.
If it comes back.
Well, like I said, hopefully the doctor can fix them.
Yeah, because there's been a bunch of copycats that pop up, but they're definitely fakes. Like, and all it is I think what happened here is people liked the legend of it. It became a little local legend, so people started copying it to expand the legend. Like some of the videos where people get excited about finding the mystery soda machine, it's a different model. It's still an old ass Coke machine, but it's a different model.
And plus, the graffiti is very noticeable.
Yeah. That would be fair.
But,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna continue on.
Yeah. I think they scrubbed most of the graffiti off like a couple times, and gets put back on there.
No, as of the last picture on its Facebook page, it still has that very recognizable graffiti. So
The thing is, the Facebook page, I don't know as though that's actually by the real person.
well, there's some actual pictures of it there with the machine not in its location. Like, I mean, you can tell the photoshopped ones, but then like the very last one,
the Wall of China is clearly a legit picture.
it might be. Wait till we get into the theories.
Oh god.
I went down a rabbit hole.
Fair.
Now, Jessica Lee, a reporter, actually reached out to the city to try to find any kind of documentation because it's a food product,
Yes, so
believe it or
there should
not.
be permits required.
And you need permits. You need permits to sell on city streets and all that stuff. And the city had nothing.
Yeah.
Not a thing. It is literally somebody just drug a pop machine out, put it down, and walked away.
See, the thing is, they did this for like 20 years, so I don't think the city
Mm-hmm.
tried very hard to enforce that law.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think they really care. To tell you the truth.
Yeah,
I mean, at some point it's got to become like kind of a spectacle, you know?
I honestly think that was part of its charm there. It's a little local color that everybody enjoyed. It made Seattle special. Or
Like I'm totally not gonna lie. If I ever visited Seattle and the pop machine was there, I would go see that before anything else.
what else is there to see in Seattle?
The Mariners.
Eh.
That was literally the only thing I could think of. I don't watch baseball.
I mean, if you're gonna say sports teams, I'd rather see the Seahawks instead. At least that's football. Or the
Yeah.
Supersonics, that's basketball. I'm sure there's a hockey team
Yeah.
there too. Not that I really care about the Seattle hockey team.
I think Seattle has a team, tell you the truth.
I would be
But
surprised. It's one of the major hubs. I mean, it's got everything else. It's at least got a. It's at least got a class like B team somewheres.
I'm
B
sure
league.
every place does.
Yeah.
But yeah, when questioned, the locksmith owner of the shop, he's got no clue about it. He's completely in denial about it. Now, this is the funny thing. You'd think like the employees at the locksmith building company, whatever you want to call it, you think one of them would blab if the locksmith was actually running this, because like it's a thing of legend at this point.
Yeah.
So you think like one locksmith employee want to get their like 5 minutes of fame, and yet,
Yeah. You raise a good point. There's nothing. Nobody's ever said anything. I do have a couple thoughts of just off the top of my head on that. One, we don't really know how many people worked at that locksmith. I mean, locksmith is probably a mostly solo job. Probably doesn't need a whole lot of employees.
no.
Okay.
I have two locksmiths within like about, I don't know, 45-minute drive of my place. Two separate ones. And I know the one employs at least like, I think 3, and the other one has at least 2 people.
Oh, you see here, a lot of them are like independent solos. That's why there's 1,000 of them in the well, when they had phone books, and there was 1,000 of them in the phone book because they were all solo acts.
Huh. So I take it Americans never lock their keys in their cars, or
Well, no, that's why there's a whole bunch of them. Like everybody does their own thing, and they all solo act and charge like $150 to get into it.
I got like a 45-minute radius of like 5 of them at 2 companies. So yeah, that's why I kind of rule out the locksmith. To tell you the truth.
I don't know. Like again, maybe he has a bunch of employees. Maybe he doesn't. Like I said, my experience with locksmiths is they're all solo acts. There's a bunch of them in the area, but they work kind of alone out of their home.
But yeah, we know that the locksmith has employees because they've been questioned before about the soda machine. So
I see. I heard the locksmith was questioned. I didn't hear mention of employees, but there's got to be at least one other person that he has a storefront. But yeah, no, like anyways, I'm gonna guess if there are employees, very small number, and maybe they get it. Maybe they get the magic.
I'd blab.
And this is why you're
Secondly,
not a
oh.
locksmith.
Well, it's also because I locked my keys in my Jeep once and it cost me $200 to get them out because the locksmiths have a 45-minute drive. Anyway. Next up is a viral marketing campaign by Coke before the internet.
You know, I heard that. I didn't give it a whole lot of credence because there are Pepsi products in it too.
Well, that's the thing, though, too. If you want to keep the heat off you, why wouldn't you throw some of your competitors in there, you know?
But at that point, you're virally marketing to both parties, especially if you're using rare Pepsi products as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one I'm kind of... Because, like, by now, something would have came out about it.
Maybe. I mean, probably, but I guess it depends on how high up it went and all that stuff. And on a side note, I did reach out to both Coke and Pepsi about the thing. I did not hear
Oh!
back from either one of them. I but I did reach out.
I never even thought about that. Damn it. So what'd you say?
Basically gave him a link to the wiki article and said, I'm doing a live podcast about this, and I was wondering if you had any comments.
That's awesome. We will definitely update if they ever comment back. Wouldn't that be awesome if like Henry Coke and John Pepsi both email you back saying, yes, it was us. And nobody would ever believe you. And then your computer sets on fire and...
Oh,
So I think we can, kind of rule out it being a marketing campaign.
yeah.
Even,
Yeah, I
even
agree.
though I would say it's one of the coolest marketing campaigns
Yeah.
ever. um This is the one I put the most credence in. It's a personal collector.
Yeah.
It's
That seems likely.
it's some guy that said, you know what, Crystal Pepsi ain't gonna be around forever. I'm gonna go out and buy like 200 boxes of it, you know?
Yeah, and it's this collector would definitely have the money to not only get the soda but to store it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep it in a warehouse someplace, all good.
And I would also explain why they have the resources to restock it unseen.
You see, that's the most interesting thing about it. Only once has the insides of it ever been seen. On April 26th, 2014, there's a picture of a couple with the machine open.
Mm-hmm.
And only one picture, of course, and you can't see their faces or nothing, naturally. And
Yes.
the vehicle there, the picture is just so you can't see the license plate. It's, but
It's almost like Bigfoot posing for a picture there.
we'll get into that later. Sad part is I'm not kidding. But yeah, that's the only picture of it ever actually like seen open. People think what is it? People have reported an unmarked white van in the middle of the night restocking it, but once again, no photos, no nothing, That's literally the only photo that we have is of the couple in front of it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's it's no faces, no way to ID, no, it's that. God damn it.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, personal collector, that makes a lot of sense. be a very rich one because, like, maybe it's spreading the joy of the soda, not worrying about the price of it. Because it definitely costs more
Well,
to acquire and store the soda than it is for the 55, 75, or a dollar to put it out.
yeah, and the only reason it went up to $1 was because of the
Yeah,
sugar tax that
25.
Seattle
Yeah,
imposed.
yeah, and it literally went up by the amount of the sugar tax.
Which is disappointing. Those are all my theories, except for two really ridiculous ones.
Okay, let's hear the really ridiculous.
It's haunted.
Aliens? Oh, haunted?
It's
Ooh,
haunted. Sorry,
okay.
three really ridiculous ones.
Okay, haunted, haunted. I can get behind this. It's a very old model. It
Mm-hmm.
definitely has been doing its thing since like the '80s. It's putting out rare and discontinued sodas into the late 2010s, as though it was in the late '80s, early '90s. Okay, I'm on board.
Yeah. On top of that, like it never runs out, except for that one picture we have of it opening, and we can't tell if they're stocking it, if they're just taking inventory, if they have like an identical key and just, oh, we'll go pop it open. Oh, look at that, there's soda,
Yeah.
And in the picture, it's very full. So yeah, that's ridiculous theory number one,
Okay.
right? For
Dimensional wormhole.
ridiculous theory number two.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably not on there, but okay, if we're going down to ridiculous, it's
Yep.
it's the soda machine with a dimensional wormhole to make sure it never from another reality, so that it never empties.
A dimensional wormhole that they're stuck in the 80s and early 90s.
Or maybe in a time period where they just didn't change the sodas and get rid of them.
Fair enough, where Crystal
A,
Pepsi was a smash hit.
a better world, man. A better world.
Much better world. And we also have Jolt. Another ridiculous theory, cryptids.
Okay, yeah.
This thing is actually a living, breathing thing that produces
So
cans.
it's like a mimic, but
Yes.
not an angry one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I can get behind this one too.
Like, I mean, we've seen it traveling. We saw it on the Great Wall of China.
Yeah, I mean, and it said it's going to take a walk, maybe get a shower. I mean, and then find
Mm-hmm.
itself, and it definitely looks like it did all those things.
Oh, it's dumb. And my last ridiculous theory, aliens.
It's always aliens.
It's
Actually,
always aliens.
this one popped up in pretty much every video I watched about this.
Really?
Yeah, it did, and I
I
mean, I don't think any of them ever took it seriously, but it popped up in every
mm.
video.
You see, it's actually an observation tool for aliens. Now, of course, aliens don't understand the latest trends or anything like that, so they just use their interdimensional wormhole to just fill it up with whatever they have lying around when they first put it out.
Yeah, aliens is viable. I'm still liking the mimic one. That's kind of cool.
I thought that was neat. The very first rabbit hole I fell down with the mimic one. I think the user's name was like D&D Extreme or something like that. So I was just like, oh yeah, I see the connection.
Fair, yeah.
And that's all I got. I told everybody it'd be a shorter episode. What do you got? Anything else?
No, like I believe the soda machine is a Dixie Narco from the 1970s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 85% sure of that. I mean, that comes from my very very uneducated soda machine mind.
Yeah,
But
I think it's honestly just somebody having a good time.
yeah, no, I figure. Yeah, I figure it's probably somebody having a good time. There's been a lot of copycats since it disappeared in 2018. There's
Yeah.
been a bunch that popped up, and as I said, like the videos, like there are still videos being put out of people saying they found it. It doesn't take a genius to look at the machine and realize it's an old vintage machine, but it's not the same model. Instead of
Hmm.
instead of the squat, like six like push buttons, they're vertical, or two
Yeah.
rows of three down, and it's like it's not the same machine, guys. Just because it's a Coke machine from the 70s or 80s doesn't mean it's the same one. But I think
Well,
it's legend at this point.
well, I have an interesting question for you.
Okay.
What if it really is a mimic, and the copycat ones are its offspring?
Well, in that case, maybe they didn't fix it.
Unfortunately, no. We haven't seen our actual machines since.
Conquest conquered the world on his great journey through Facebook.
Well, I hope I sincerely hope that it does come back.
Yeah, it's
Maybe swing by Canada, eh?
it's a really interesting little thing, like color history. I mean, it's
Mm.
really interesting and silly, and I think that's probably why it kept going. And it did seem to correspond with the opening of the locksmith. I'm not saying it's them, but I'm saying it's them.
You
But
see, I'm saying it's not them, and I'm saying that is literally somebody that's just like, I have 100 cases of Crystal Pepsi.
yeah,
I have a bunch of old machines. I'm gonna plunk one down, just see what happens.
well, okay, maybe it's not the locksmith, but the locksmith knows who did it, or knows more than they're admitting to. It was put in front of their establishment. They have to know something unless they're like the worst locksmiths ever, and like never like opened their eyes because it's right in front. And then when it was broken into and highly vandalized, when it was repaired with a locking chain bought from the locksmith.
Yep, but to be fair, if you're gonna lock and chain, locksmith right there. I'll just pick one up there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. A locksmith should know who did it.
Yep.
Just like the city, if this like I'm not buying the licensing for the vending machine. There's a lot of unlicensed vending machines out there. There's a lot.
Well, that's just it, though. Maybe it's a government conspiracy because obviously the city isn't worried about it. This goes all the way up to the top, all the
I'm gonna
way
say
up to
like
the top of Seattle, Washington.
I don't think, yeah, I don't think the government cares that much about an unlicensed vending machine. Now, if it started making people sick, maybe.
Well, that's just something else I want to quickly touch on. I guess a pop kind of has a best before date, a good date, an
Yes.
expiry date of about 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, but I've drank soda 3 years later and it still tastes exactly the same.
I drowned it out with Kraken, so it
Yeah.
all tastes the same to me.
The bottles expire quicker. The
Mhm.
cans, I've had a can 3 or 4 years later. It was fine.
If only that worked with beer, because beer gets skunky. Not this beer though, they good beer.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
like that's the other interesting really thing about art is that most of these are supposedly discontinued sodas.
But yeah, I think that
Um,
about wraps it up, eh? Do you got anything else?
yeah, no, that's about all I had. I couldn't
I
find a
see.
whole lot other than what we've already talked about.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's gonna be a shorter episode. We usually strive for an hour, but that's it. That's all the information. There's not much more.
Yeah, And
Well,
without more information, we can't conjecture longer.
we can see here. We can fill time if you want. I see you're in the Halloween mood. There's Halloween Crunch behind you.
Oh, that's just color commentary. I try to make sure it's something interesting behind me at all times.
You have an interesting book above you.
Yeah, yeah.
But like yeah, this is definitely a kind of a sillier episode. If you want a good laugh, where would we find a good joke at?
Oh, geez. I do jokes daily over on my channel at Trekker Tulumak. They're bad. They're bad. I promise they're real, real bad. But you'll hate how much you like them.
You'll laugh, I can guarantee you. But I'm a hat. I'm a hat. So not
Okay.
this Sunday, but next Sunday, we're gonna get back on course here. I hope. We got kind of thrown off course. I had to go to a zoo and see red pandas.
Fair, fair.
I'm a hat. And of course, if there's a topic you want us to cover or have an episode on, just comment it below and we may add it to the hat. Shake them up real good. I don't even remember what's in here. I don't know why I'm shaking these really. Oh, that one doesn't want to get caught. There we are. Now the 20-minute unravel. Colony of Roanoke.
Okay.
So we go from something silly to something where, yeah, that not really all that silly.
Well, I mean, you know.
Like we could find humor in it, but it'd be rather dark humor.
Everything's dark humor.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, it's dark outside. I hate this time of year. All right, but thank you all very much for joining us tonight, and we will talk to you another time.
See you guys in a couple weeks. Bye.